Hey everybody, I hope you're having I hope you can hear me. I hope you're having a great Sunday. So we are sitting out, we're outside. There's a little waterfall over here. We're currently in Florida. So as you're tuning in, where you're tuning in from, we're gonna dive into this book that we've been going through, The Atomic Habits by James Clear. And so there's a really cool formula that he talks about in this book. And I wanted to share it with you because if you can write this down today, like if there's one thing that you do and you take action on this, it can shift everything over the next, let's just say 2 weeks, right? So I'm going to give you an example of what the book talks about, but it's awesome because, well, hey, if you're brand new, post new below. And something that I've learned over the course of, let's just say a couple of years, is when you're reading a book, when you're listening to a podcast, when you're taking in information from somebody or learning from somebody, right? Oftentimes people dive in and they take all this information, right? So a lot of you are diving in and learning about keto information. What to eat, how to do it, when to eat, what should I do, like how does all this stuff work? And you're taking notes and you're writing it all down, but are you putting into action what you're learning? So anytime that you're reading, listening to a podcast, anything, right? And it's of course like nonfiction. Like we're just going to erase fictional learning right now, meaning fairy tale books. But like anytime that you're putting yourself in a situation where you're learning something to actually give yourself some wisdom and knowledge, the next thing you have to do is put what you're learning into action, okay? And there's a great formula in this book that we're going to go through. So we've already gone through chapters 1 through 3. I'm pretty sure we're in chapter 4. Maybe this is chapter 5. And I can share with the other. We've gone through this over the last couple weeks. We're on chapter 5. And so I'm going to explain how this works. And then I would challenge you to take so in the video, in the title, I wrote down the formulation that James Clear gave you. And there's a reason why he gave it to you. So very, very quickly, he talks in this book about how there is 3 groups, right? And they wanted to test these groups to see how they would do on reaching a goal in 2 weeks. So there was group A, and they were a controlled group. They were simply asked to track when they work out. So group A was like, hey, let us know when you work out. Here's your goal. You've got 2 weeks to do it. Group B had, here's your goal. You've got 2 weeks, but they also were a motivational group. So what they had to do was they had to go and learn about the things they were doing as well. So read, talk about the power of reading, listening. They were filling their mind right along with doing the exercise. Group 3, this is super interesting. They had the same plan. They all had the same goal. They had the same amount of time. They had to read, but they also had to get very specific. And what they did is they said they had to write it down, and they had to write down, during next week, I will partake in at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise. Here's the kicker. And they would have to say the day, on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 2 o'clock at the gym they were at or in my basement. They were very specific. And what it showed was the first group, 35 to 38% of people, the first group where there was no directive, just working out, they worked out once a week. The second group, it went up a little bit more with motivation. The third group, 91% of the third group exercise at least once a week and continue to do it after that. And so he goes through this book or this chapter. It's really, really great. And he talks about just like the power of studies and how like if you implement specific intentions, a date, a time, it's written down, you've got it all set, guess what? What can happen? And if you actually write it down, you're more apt to hit that goal. Is that making sense? So we're diving into this book, Atomic Habits. If you're just tuning in, where are you tuning in from? And I'd love to know, like, I think this is powerful. And as you listen to this, if you're taking notes, just so you know, like here on the KetoMOM page, we share recipes. I shared a great muffin recipe this morning. Later on, I'm going to show you a couple. I'm visibly going to show you guys some food tonight that is labeled cauliflower, that is labeled like a keto food. But when you do the tip is to flip, which I often say the tip is to flip, when you take that tip and you go look at the back of these foods, which from the front of the food, you go, of course that's a keto food. And then I flipped it over and I was like, that is not a keto snack or a low carb snack or even something that you might as well just go eat a real pretzel. Like I'm going to show you a bag of cauliflower pretzels. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. And I flipped it over and I was like, I'm going to show you that tonight, okay? So watch this evening. I'll show you some food hacks. But right now, I want you to understand that I can tell you things over and over again. I can tell you what to eat, how to eat, when to do it. We all know what to do. I'm just going to be real. We know we shouldn't live off of pizza, chicken nuggets, corn dogs, Debbie snacks like mac and cheese. You all know that. You know that you should probably move your body and you should drink water. But if you don't have this right, which is really what we talk about in the KetoMOM page, there's so much, but one of the most powerful things is getting your mind right, especially during this time when people are uncertain, right? And there's fear and there's worry and there's just not really an end in sight. So one of the best things that you can do is build yourself up, build somebody else up, right? Call a friend, go through a book together. And so this is super powerful. So he goes through things like you're going to increase your odds and sticking to a habit with anything that you set an appointment to, specifically specific dates and times. So he talks about like if somebody says, oh, I'm going to get healthier, but they don't have a specific date and time. I want to eat better. I want to write more. And if you just leave it to chance and you hope that you remember to do it, guess what? The likelihood of that happening, I mean, raise your hand if that's ever happened to you. How many of you get to the end of the year, January 1st comes around and you're like, hey, shoot, 2019 was great. My goal was X, Y, and Z, didn't do it. So we'll just make 2020. I'll do those same goals this year. Same goals as 2018. Same goals as 2017. But you didn't get specific, right? And so that's for me. I'll give you an example. I've always wanted to be able to do a pull-up, like a real unassisted pull-up. I want big arm muscles, but I do this all the time. I wish I had big muscles. Oh, I'm going to have big muscles this year. Yep. But I've never said, I'm going to have big muscles this year because I'm going to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday on my shoulders and my back and my arms at 8 o'clock in the morning in the gym in my basement or in the gym at the YMCA. Like I've never set intentions like that. So therefore I have never reached that goal. And that goal has been my goal for 3 years and I have still not reached it. I wasn't specific. It was a hope. It was a wish. And so I love this paragraph. He said, so many people, they lack motivation when they lack clarity. I didn't have clarity. I just had a hope and a whim that, and kind of in my head, I thought, well, maybe just someday I'll be able to do a pull-up. No. Same with the food that you're eating. Same with anything that you want. Like, we can hope for it. We can wish for it. We can watch other people. But if you're not going to get specific, guess what? You and I are going to have a conversation next year and you're going to be starting over again. So this is how he framed it. He said, the simple way to apply this strategy is, I want you to write this down, and I put it in the video. I put this in the caption of the video. I will behavior at this time in this location. So I want you, what do you want? Like, do you want to work out a certain amount a week? Do you want to eat a specific way? There, I think that somebody's at the door. Where are you going to do it? So I would love for you to do, like, put this little formula together and share it below. Like, what would it look like for you? So for me, I will work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, specifically on my upper body, my arms, my shoulders, and my back at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, probably 7 o'clock in the morning when we're all done with this sticking at home, but between 7 and 8 in the morning in our gym at our house, right? Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, no matter what, like I'm going to work on this part of what I want to achieve my goals down the road. Or so is this making sense? I hope this is making sense. Anyways, if you're curious, the book that I'm reading, it's called Atomic Habits. It's by James Clear. And we've just been going through it here on the KetoMOM Facebook page. And so he gave it a couple examples. Meditation. I will meditate for 1 minute at 7 a.m. in my kitchen. He gave an example for studying. I will study Spanish for 20 minutes at 6 p.m. in my bedroom. Exercise. I will exercise for 1 hour at 5 p.m. in my local gym. Marriage. I will make my partner a cup of tea at 8 o'clock in the morning in my kitchen.
Or ketones.
Or drink my ketones. Steve does this for me every morning. He gets up, I grab the dogs, get them ready. He goes shake up our ketones. We meet outside. We go for a walk. So that's just a habit that we've been creating. We listen to our Bible on our walk. We come back. We work out, right? We've been doing all those things. So We've been doing that every single day. And so if you are not sure when to start, and this is super great too. So if people go, I just don't know when I'm going to start.
Monday.
So if you are not sure when to start, try the first day of the week, the first day of the month, or year. Our year's passed. You're not waiting until 2021.
April 1st is coming.
So tomorrow is Monday, right?
Monday it is.
Today is Sunday. Or if you're watching this and it's a different day, it doesn't matter. When's the next, I'm going to start on Monday, okay? I'm going to get up. I don't care if I've already been at home for 10 days, okay? We might be home and not leaving for the next 3 weeks. That's not an excuse. You've got a better position right now to sit and read, to have some rest, to work on your health, to stay focused. There's actually no excuse. There really isn't. I mean, you don't need a gym. We don't have a gym here. We've been doing something on our computer, push-ups and squats, making great choices on our food. So I wanted to hop on here. I think that was a great little equation for you to put into your health if you wanted to. And then at the very end, there's a little summary. He said, once you implement your intention formula of I will behave at this time and location, habits start stacking. So the habits start stacking is a strategy that you can use to pair new habits with current habits. The habit stacking formula is this. After...
Oh, you should save the habit stacking one for another one.
There's way more to come. Anyways, I'll give you the concept.
Another?
No, there's no more. Right now, I'm done.
This is good.
But after you get that workout part, he just goes into after your current habits is established, I will create a new habit. So once you have this one in place, you're going to dive into a new one. So this is a great book. I recommend you get it. Habit stacking. We've got some good habits, and there's more that we could put in place. There's some things I've been wanting to do that I haven't done because I haven't gotten specific, because it's afraid of failure. If you write it out and you don't do it, guess what? You feel like a failure, so people don't write it out, right? So there's things that I want to work on that I haven't written out. Why? Because if I don't do it, then then I failed. I don't like that feeling. So I'm going to work on a couple things. I encourage you to work on a couple things. I would love for you to share where you're tuning in from, how was your day, what are some of the things that you're working on, and I would love for you to press the share button below because a lot of people need encouragement. So press the share button. Sharing is caring. It's not just for you, but other people need this too. So have a great afternoon, great evening, great morning, wherever you're tuning in from, and we'll talk to you soon.